Man, this is lifestyles of the poor and unfucking fortunate. But I tell you what, but bitch, we got views.
What happened from 2000 to 2013? A bunch of music that never got put on a project in particular. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of my ups and downs in between that time period too. So I'm thugging pretty good, baby. And when my music don't do well, I go darker in my habit, which happened to be cough syrup. And you know, I pick up such a habit for it that I have to sell it to have it. Yeah. And I really wasn't hustling to make no money. I was hustling to support my habit. A lot of people don't want to admit that and like want to claim that they was the drink man or the whatever. I was a drink head with a drink problem and ended up turning that into my hustle so I could support my addiction. They got a little saying down here, your habit is stronger than your hustle. Mm-hmm. And that is definitely what turned into my situation. So that developed into probably some of the darker time of my life, and to see it on such a high right now, cough syrup, drink, whatever, you know, like to see it come from just this small little circle of screwed up clique to be forefront and everybody has got double cups in their hand now. It's like, you know, and this is an old head talking from experience, baby, that you drinking heroin, baby. You drinking heroin, baby, and that is a hell of a habit to try to. You just don't do that on the weekend and then pop up Monday and be cool, baby. You can for the first little few times, but anyway, I ain't trying to get that deep, but baby, you can't play with that, baby. You play with that a couple of times, baby. The next thing you know, you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, baby. Yeah. And but anyway, it took me a long time to overcome that. So I got a pretty cool story that goes behind that too. So I developed a big drink habit. December 3rd, 2007, I had my fill. I pretty much had lost everything. And what I did have fit, y'all know them little tiny storage buildings? Yeah. I mean, it's like the smallest one you can rent. A little narrow door and a little narrow strip. $35 a month, fit everything I owned in one of them. Yeah. Go check myself in to avoid what I was thinking to come even worse, getting killed behind somebody or something bad happening, because I had been out there robbing people, you know, that had drank or had beans or had pills or whatever. So I was just at my, you know, and doing it to people that I respected and doing it to people that I had relationships with, the son, you know, so it got that deep. So I go in, I check in December 3rd, this is an important date, December 3rd, 2007. And when you're in recovery, you'll never forget the day that you went and got yourself straight. The next morning, the first night I went in there, I wake up the next morning, December 4, 2007. David Flickinger comes and knocks on my door and tells me that Pimp C has passed from a codeine overdose. Yep. I am in here for a codeine addiction. The first morning I wake up, a motherfucker comes and tells me that my favorite rapper has died from a cough syrup overdose. Yep. I cried. Well, he left the room, baby. I cried because I knew the Lord had to send me this big of a message. He had this message this big to send me. Boy, if you don't get your shit straight, you gonna die. If you don't finish this program and complete this program and get off this shit, boy, you gonna die. And in my mind, this is what was happening. The Lord was showing me on my first morning, because I ain't sleep all night. Felt like my bones was finna pop out my legs.
Yeah, just going through.
Yeah. But that was the reason I come. And this is a 7-month program. This ain't one of them little 30-day in and out and you go home and get right back to what you was doing. 7 months they thought it took to change and took an effect on you. But baby, when they come and told me Pimp C had died from a cough syrup overdose, allegedly.
Yeah, right.
I stuck it out, and baby, not to get into a bunch of the details, but what happened from 2000 to 2013, I picked up a big habit. I got rid of a big habit. I come home, I got with my wife, we had babies, and I felt like I needed to dedicate as much attention as I could to them babies. I grew up with, I had a great stepdad, but I grew up for the most part of my life with my dad absent. So that if that happens to you, you're going to want to be the best daddy in the world because you didn't have one. So I really put a lot of attention on my family. And once I got my kids to a point where I felt like I could step back out and start doing some music again, I was on like this real spiritual side. So keep in mind, I had just come home, turned over this new leaf. I'm basically trying to learn how to live sober. And
how tough was that to get to when you was in there, being so addicted to the syrup? Like, how tough was it to come off that?
Oh, baby, it is. You better.
Because like you said, it's essentially liquid heroin.
Synthetic.
Yeah, synthetic. Yeah.
Heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is no pump, baby. It's gonna take everything you got, and that's when I realized how strong I was.
Yeah.
Like I was really on some punk ass shit, running from my emotions, because every time I got something that was a little bit more than I could handle, I would numb it with that. And so I had to face all of the shit I had been running from this whole time. I had to face it in there. Without my people, without my parents, without my friends, without no numbing. I had to face it right there, head up. But the cool thing about it was a bunch of dudes in there from South Louisiana, all over the country. It was a bunch of dudes in there, and at the time that was a popular thing to do, especially lower tabs. So it was a bunch of guys in there coming off of it, and we kind of come off of it together. So I had that camaraderie, knowing that a bunch of guys was in there going through the same thing with me, and they didn't quit. They didn't bitch up and leave, and we seen a bunch of dudes bitch up and leave. But we kind of, it was tough, but at the same time, that's when I learned that not only could I overcome something, I could face my problems head on. And I just kind of made a little vow to myself, like, dog, we're not running from nothing no more. We going to face the shit head up. We're going to deal with it right then, because when you turn your back on your problems, baby, they creep up from behind you and choke your fucking ass. Wouldn't you rather stand there right there toe to toe and see what it is and get your ass kicked that way, baby, rather than turn around and let him come up behind you and choke your ass without you even knowing it was coming? So I just, that was when I started facing my problems head on. I come home, me and Brittany started seeing each other. We got married. We had babies. I raised my kids up until I felt like I got them to a point where I could maybe start slipping away a little bit more. I got a good job, financially stable for the first time in my life, starting to save a little money, trying to get, my life situated. And then, music is always at me, and I didn't find this out until later on in life, baby. Like when I didn't create, I would get sick. Not like stomach sick, I would be like depressed. And I didn't know why. I'm like I just ain't got nothing. I ain't inspired by nothing. I'm just kind of going through shit. And when you're an artist and you're used to creating, and the Lord's giving you the gift to create, and you don't use it, baby, you gonna get sick, baby.